The Nether Portal. As one of the most iconic structures in all of video gaming, Minecraft's Nether Portal is known to be the gateway for players to access the fiery and dangerous Nether dimension. However, despite seeming rather simple at face value, this portal holds a pretty dark secret, and it isn't the fact it literally transports you to the underworld. No. The Nether Portal has a mystery within its obsidian frame that stretches so far that not even the remote end dimension is safe from its influence. And what's even crazier is that nobody seems to be realizing just how omnipresent this puzzle is. The Nether Portal not only is the key to answering probably one of the longest running mysteries in the entire game, that being how the Enderman came to be, but it also explains a very anomalous property of one of the other structures in the game. Hello everyone, I'm Cheddarballs, and in this rather odd mini-theory video, I'll be explaining the lore behind the Nether Portal's dark mystery. So, with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so to begin, let me ask you a question. What is the portal part of the Nether Portal? We know this thing has an obsidian frame, but what is the purple stuff that actually transports us to the Nether dimension? It seems like a stupid question. I mean, who cares what the portal of the Nether Portal is? It's a portal that teleports us, for crying out loud. Isn't that blatantly obvious? Well, yeah, the purple substance is very clearly meant to be a portal in the Nether Portal. But what's interesting is that that isn't its only role. Most players recognize this purple substance from an activated Nether Portal, but it actually appears somewhere else in the game, and that is in Crying Obsidian. You see, when the 1.16 update introduced Crying Obsidian, I always wondered what the purple stuff inside of its cracks were, as it was nothing like I've ever seen before. At the time I didn't know it, but that purple substance in Crying Obsidian is almost definitely the exact same thing that makes up the portal part of the Nether Portal. We know this as respawn anchors, which are crafted primarily out of Crying Obsidian, actually generate a miniature Nether Portal when activated, which logically would be the result of this Nether Portal substance within the Crying Obsidian. Okay, so we know that this portal fluid stuff is present in Crying Obsidian as well as in the normal Nether Portal, but how is that important? Why would I make a video over such a small connection? Well, let's take a look at what the substance actually does. Based on how the Nether Portal works, we know this substance is able to teleport matter to and from the Nether dimension. In fact, this is likely the reason why Nether blocks such as netherrack and magma appear around ruined portals in the overworld, as the portal fluid from the Crying Obsidian likely managed to teleport those blocks from the Nether dimension. What this all means is that this substance is responsible for some of the interdimensional teleportation within the game. But based on my research, it also appears to be the same factor behind just regular teleportation. Yeah, it's finally time we get into the second part of this theory, that being how the Endermen tie into it. Now, ever since Minecraft lore theorizing became a big thing on YouTube, one of the largest topics players like to theorize about are the origins of the Endermen. One of the leading theories about this topic is that these mobs are the result of an ancient civilization of entrapped survivors, evolving the ability to teleport by eating only a diet of chorus fruit, which has the ability to teleport those who consume it. Now, although I do think this theory is fine, I've always questioned how it explained how Endermen had the ability of interdimensional travel. As you may know, Endermen are the only mob in the whole game who can spawn in all three dimensions: the overworld, the nether, and of course, the end. It is implied these creatures originated from the end, and given how that dimension can only be escaped by defeating the dragon, which has never been achieved until the player actually does it at the end of the game, there is no direct pathway out of the end for the Endermen, so they have to get to the other dimensions somehow. This is where my main theory comes into play, and that is that Endermen didn't gain their teleportation abilities from chorus fruit, but rather from the Nether Portal fluid. If we take a closer look at the appearance of the Endermen, well, for one, they're entirely black, but we can see their eyes are completely purple, which is the signature color of the Nether Portal substance. Now, normally, that wouldn't be too important. I mean, they just share a color, so what? But on top of that, the mob also emits the same exact purple particles as the Nether Portal, which acts as another connection between the two. In fact, these Nether Portal particles appear in a lot of places associated with the Enderman, such as whenever you throw an Ender Pearl or whenever you throw an Eye of Ender. It is entirely possible that the Endermen gain their abilities to teleport within and between dimensions by somehow incorporating the nether portal fluid into their own bodies. And although I'm not sure how that's even possible, it's no doubt that it could definitely be true. However, with all of that being said, there is one other thing I'd like to mention regarding this theory, and that is the end portal. Now, unlike all the other aspects of interdimensional travel, the end portal doesn't seem to have any clear association with portal fluid. There's not a speck of purple on this thing, so it's kind of hard to determine how it works. Yet, despite this first impression, with a little digging we can find that this structure too is influenced by portal fluid. As I had briefly mentioned, given the presence of purple particles on ender pearls, we know it's likely they contain the nether portal material. In fact, that's likely why they allow players to teleport when one is thrown. If we take a look at the top of the end portal frames, we can see they appear to be made out of ender pearls, or something like them, as they share a similar color scheme, and they are both related to the end dimension obviously. So if ender pearls were used in creating the portal frames, and the pearls themselves contain the nether portal substance, then so does the end portal frames, and the end portal by extension. And that could explain how it allows us to travel to the end dimension. So, now that we know what this portal fluid does, and where it potentially appears, is it dangerous? Well, that is pretty hard to tell currently. Most players regularly expose themselves to the material by simply traveling to the nether and back, and there haven't been any short-term or long-term effects of doing so. I will say though that it is concerning how the portal fluid present in Crying Obsidian in Ruined Portals seems to be leaking the nether into the overworld. But given how such a small amount of fluid is present and nether blocks only appear in the immediate area around the ruined portal, I wouldn't really say it's anything that should be worried about. As for the connections to the Enderman, I will admit they are a little far-fetched, but I do feel like they could work out given the evidence I've provided. But even then, there is still a lot of unanswered questions, such as how the Enderman actually got the portal fluid into their bodies. All in all though, there is a lot more going on with the nether portal's purple portal substance material thingy, I'm not sure what to call it. Anyways, there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. And this video just served as a small snippet of what it could mean for the game's overall story. Now, before I end off this video, I want to give big credit to the Minecraft Historian, who is another YouTuber who inspired me to make this theory, so go check out their video on this topic afterwards. Now, I know Minecraft videos aren't really a thing on my channel, but I'm just experimenting as of now, as what I normally post is getting a little stale. So let me know in the comments what you think of this type of video, as I am quite interested in the lore and story of this game. And while you're down there, notify me of any other discoveries revolving this purple nether fluid you find, as I am interested in that too. So with all of that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.